Hello, and welcome. This is me. It is me. It's the Hub Critic back again with another video. This is episode 6 of Wrestle-Talk, and I almost forgot the name of the show. But anyways, you can see in the title of the video. Well, further ado to get to, but Finn Balor has won the NXT Championship at the Beast in the East live in the Sumo Dome in Japan, Tokyo, Japan, on the 4th of July 2015. Currently won it around 11 a.m. My time. Don't know what is your time. You're probably still like in bed or something, or it's early morning for you. It could be late afternoon for you, whatever. But right here, GMT, I watched this live, the whole pay-per-view, excluding 2 matches which I do not know the results of, which I'm probably going to find out in the meantime. But this show has been something else. Of course, the best moment goes to, of course, Finn Balor winning the NXT Championship for his first ever win in WWE and his first ever championship win. First ever NXT win, and he's bringing a title back. Seems fitting for him winning that title there in Japan. I can't believe this happened. I am so excruciatingly excited about this win, more than I've ever been for anything else in NXT. I think I've talked about this. I've touched on this time again here in NXT. I've done ever since I started these NXT reviews. I've loved this guy. I've grown up with this guy here. It feels like forever he's been here. He's been here for, I guess, 6 months, 7 months. But no, it seems fitting. In his first year, wins that NXT Championship and steals it from Kevin Owens. I'm not sure exactly on how many days and Kevin Owens has held that championship for, but no, it ended just like that. Look at a click of a finger there. I'll get into the match and everything that happened in the match as I get through the pay-per-view, but just commenting on Finn Balor winning the NXT Championship. It is quite extraordinary. A guy I know from a hometown very near me, back in Ireland, and I know that this guy has really put the work in, the effort in. He has had the popularity pretty much there, momentum, and it's building in Ireland, and day by day he's getting more and more popular. He's getting more and more fleshed out in his character, and I think that it's going to lead to even better stories with him in NXT. So I'm very excited for his future here in NXT, and this is the place to be watching, because business, I would say, is about to pick up right here in NXT. I know Kevin Owens is sort of in a transitional period between NXT and the main roster, which leads us to Finn Balor, and Finn Balor can really display feats of strength, feats of courage, and he's a very believable guy, a guy that the crowd can get behind as an ultra face. I'm just going to comment on basically the amazingness of all of this. He won at Beast in the East, and the amazingness of that. 4th of July, happy 4th of July, by the way, to Americans out there. What a day to behold itself. I'll check in on Wikipedia here. Kevin Owens has held the title for 143 days, and on that 144th day, or 143rd, Finn Balor wins the NXT Championship. It is amazing. So I've heard some people even guess that it would be at the next pay-per-view for NXT that, well, the NXT Championship would change hands. But no, look at this. Finn Balor is definitely set in for a long reign, I can imagine. And, you can't really fight that, because, of course, Finn Balor is the man at the moment. And there's no one at the moment that I feel can top him at all in NXT at the moment. So, of course, he's my favourite. Of course, I'm excited and happy. My, thankfully, correct prediction on him winning that NXT Championship, because I was right, and not taking any of that back, he has won the NXT Championship. So yes, Finn Balor has finally done it, and yeah, I guess that some may say he did it too quickly, some may say he did it too slowly. I'm in the middle. I think, you know what, this is kind of the right time, and I thought that, it was the perfect place to finish it off. I thought, well, look at that. I guess there's no other way of saying this, but what a great showing from him. And, it couldn't have been better. The whole atmosphere behind it was good. It was good, and, it wasn't botched or anything like that, but no, it was perfect, and it felt like the perfect place, as I just said, to do such a thing. we're going to go straight in. Just to comment on it, it was Beast Knees 2015, as I did a predictions video yesterday. Probably weren't expecting me to come up too early, but I did anyway, and, well, it's like 1 o'clock today, but it was in Sumida, Tokyo, Japan, July 4th, 2015. As I said, it was, starting off here, I watched the live stream from 10:30 a.m. My time, but anyway, you can probably tell by that I'm pretty enthusiastic about this, as I don't usually watch live streams or live pay-per-views, but of course this was actually fitting because it was up so the time that I could watch it, because it was of course early AM in the US and it was in Japan, so it was actually fitting for me to watch it because I was up and I wasn't tired or anything because I was up in normal time to watch this pay-per-view, so it was perfect timing for me. Obviously WWE, I love their network exclusives on the Beast in these pay-per-views that they do. Seriously, this one is one of hopefully another further loaded live events that they do for special events in the network, which I think is a very good idea. I mean, Japan, quite a good crowd, I would say. I'm not too amazing, but you know, they were in between there. Some points they were amazing, some points they weren't. But anyway, I've got to go back on 2 matches that I didn't comment on before, considering that they were on pre-shows. The 2 matches that surprisingly were 25 minutes each, amazingly. Longer than the main event. I'm actually going to go comment on all of the things on the BCD's 2015 pay-per-view, as I said before. But this one is really important because the pre-show matches were not that important, but they were long. Must have been enjoyable matches. So I've pretty much missed out on an hour of content, 50 minutes of content, that I just only realised now from the Beast Knees. Probably was from the pre-show, hour long. Seriously, it was a lot of in-ring time I missed out on. I didn't even realise, but some of these matches were a little bit out of timing, touch like that. But anyway, I'm going to get into it right now. Let's talk about it straight away. Obviously, I'm completely pumped by the Balor win. First match was Cesaro defeating Diego by submission. Now, I pretty much said that Cesaro would win, and yes, I am happy he did win, which means won. In a 25-minute match, I'm curious to see how long that went for some reason, because I could imagine a match like that going for long. I did notice that a lot of the matches were going very, very long. I guess the Japanese crowd are in for that sort of thing, and I felt that a lot of in-ring work, it was more in-ring than storyline for the whole show. Obviously, this is a live event, there was not much. I mean, we had a few little stories going into this, but a lot of the main roster stuff that we see is not really culminating here at all. So, Cesaro defeats Diego by submission. Curious to see that. Obviously, Cesaro, big fan of the guy. You know, I love him. He's good in ring. Great in ring. Outside ring, not so good. But you know what? He is unbelievable in the ring. You have to see him to believe him. The Lucha Dragons, Kalisto and Sin Cara, defeated the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods, which means I got that one wrong in 25 minutes as well. I don't know how that match lasted so long. I mean, seriously, can you really sit through that? I guess the Japanese crowd can. Now, I know one thing about this pay-per-view was, it was indicated to appeal to this Japanese crowd. But anyway, the first 2 matches on this card, I just noted on right there, were dark matches D, which is pretty much shown here. So no one, I guess, saw those matches. There was no pre-show for this pay-per-view, but there were 2 dark matches from pretty much what they do in live shows. But anyway, they were not shown to us, so the crowd were all pretty pumped up going into the 3rd match, which is sort of apparent because I felt like that was the first match, and most people did, as seen that as the first match, but it was actually the 3rd match, surprisingly. But you could feel it in the crowd that they were already in the pay-per-view, well into it. They were, you know, getting quite exhausted. They're already an hour in, but we thought we were just the first few minutes. So the next match was Chris Jericho versus Neville. Quite an interesting good match. It got better as it went along, I have to say. The last 10 minutes or so were great. So Neville actually loses to Chris Jericho, and it all made sense in the end. It was a great finish, I have to say. Chris Jericho defeated Neville. Neville goes for his 2nd Red Hour, which he also misses, and is reversed into Chris Jericho hitting him with a knee. He also hit a Goldbreaker earlier on and some other flying moonsaults and stuff like that, which Neville was quite similar in his whole moveset. But Chris Jericho goes into the Lion Tamer and wins the match. Yes, Chris Jericho. I am serious. It all made sense though at the end. As I realised it, I was like, okay, Chris Jericho wins this match against Neville. And then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You know why? Because, well, Chris Jericho has always been a big guy in Japan, and you could hear with the crowd that he was more popular. And of course he's more popular, and he's been in Japan years ago, and he's been on and off there for a while. And of course, it was fitting for the ending, with the Lion Tamer sort of reflecting on his Lion gimmick, which was his other gimmick, the Lionheart gimmick, I should say. But no, really, it's a special appearance from them there. And does this going to lead into any future endeavors with Chris Jericho in NXT? I feel like it does. I mean, I know it's just a special. It's sort of maybe just a special. Could be just a special appearance for him at Japan to mark something special. But really, he's also appearing in Tough Enough. He's trying different things. But you know what? If he has another run after this, I will not be too surprised, because he seems to be able to do it in the ring. He's sort of able. Of course, yes, he could work with some other people I'm excited about. Finn Balor, I think he's worked with him before. Another match with Neville would be completely awesome. I would love to see that in any main event, because this match he had now, it showed us the possibility of a dream match like that. Even a WrestleMania match with Chris Jericho, maybe next year, 32, would be unbelievable, like a retirement match. This is sort of reflected on Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, whatever that was. Really want to watch that WrestleMania, but I can't remember which one it was. That match definitely reflected on this match. I felt it. I know it wasn't obviously the same thing at all, but for me, this whole thing was cool. A cool throwback to that old WrestleMania match. So brilliant match. My favourite match at the start to build things up. I did say I wanted this early on, and it was good to be early on. Our fourth match of the night, even though I think it was my second match, was a triple threat for the Divas Championship. Obviously, it didn't change hands. Nikki Bella won this one. I was sort of on my phone a bit watching this, sort of half on, half off, as they do with these Diva matches. It was only a 7-minute match. Wasn't anything special at all. Paige was alright, I guess. She hit the PTO and stuff like that. But of course, Nikki Bella, I don't even know how. They didn't do a replay or anything, so I didn't know how she picked up the win, which is annoying. So I literally don't know how Nikki Bella won this match. Comment below if you guys actually figured that out, because I was too busy playing Lumosity on my phone. Sorry about that. I know, that shows how dedicated I am a fan of the wrestling, really. But seriously, Nikki Bella, I guess that makes sense. As I said before, she's going for the streak of the longest reigning Divas Champion. I know the Divas Championship has been around not too long. I mean, a few, like 5 years or 8 years or whatever has been around for. It's not even made it to a decade, so it's obviously not the most prestigious thing, like the NXT Championship, which still needs to build up ground. But the Divas Championship is different, because the holders have been like pickpocketed throughout a lot of people. So it's sort of a hot potato type title. But no, Nikki Bella is definitely supplanting herself with the championship, and I guess she's going to go beat AJ Lee now. AJ Lee's record, if I'm going to go and assert myself to see what the hell was the record there. Just looking this up now, the Divas Championship, if I can find it. But anyway, Nikki Bella wins this match in a quick little match. Obviously, she's noted at having the title for, 220 something days. So that means that she's pretty much gunning for AJ Lee. Okay, AJ Lee, if we look back, was the last holder. She held it for 63 days, she also held the title for 295 days, but another 63 reign title after that, which is our third title reign. But no, 295 days is the time to beat. And I guess her whole gimmick is that she wants to basically get the title and hold it for up to 300 days, but really she just be going to get past 295, which it definitely is quite possible at this point. 223 plus days. We're still about 2 weeks away from the Battleground pay-per-view, which she's obviously going to win. Don't get me wrong on that one. There's probably like a 70% chance she'll win that one, a 30% chance she'll lose that one. She'll be about 250 coming into SummerSlam or something like that. I don't know, 260, which means that she literally has to win SummerSlam, maybe another pay-per-view after that, and she'll be on way to beating AJ's streak, which sounds not too bad, but I guess that is a few major pay-per-views between then and now and then, so that means that Nikki Bella's in for a struggle, but I think this will make for great storyline purposes in the Divas division, which is probably what's going to happen. I can hear the commentators talking about how her title reign sort of affected what's going on, but obviously we're still delving into that new storyline, so that's interesting, really interesting. I like when they do title storylines like this. I know, CM Punk, it's sort of like F you in the face of AJ Lee, CM Punk for them leaving. But, you know, are they really going to disrespect AJ Lee that enough to take away their title reign? I'm not sure what WWE are thinking. I never know what's in their heads. It's very, very weird and confusing. And I know, it's the world of WWE. You can't really understand it too well. Let's go back and talk about the Beast in the East, which we should be talking about. Come on, stay on topic, Tim. Talking about this. But anyway, Brock Lesnar defeated Kofi Kingston in a funny little 2.5 minute match. The recording time was 2:41, 2 minutes 41, and yes, this is a stupid way to headline your show. I mean, one problem I did have with this, Brock Lesnar of course did win, made sense, as I said, predicted in a 2 minute 41 match. Why do you call the show the Beast in the East? I'm serious here. Beast in the East, obviously rectifying Brock Lesnar as the Beast, undefinedly known, but seriously, you call the pay-per-view Beast in the East, the Beast in the East, and by far the shortest match being Brock Lesnar just dominating someone. I mean, I know Brock Lesnar, of course, is going into a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match with Seth Rollins in 2 weeks, but seriously, naming the pay-per-view after him makes literally no sense. Beast in the East, should have called something more Japanese toned, but I don't know, just leave out the Beast, because this match was just a short little. Wasn't even many suplexes. It was just an F5. I guess Brock Lesnar didn't hit an F5 afterwards. He also attacks the New Day, who come running in, and the New Day are having an awful night. Not the first time they'd have had a pretty awful night. You know, Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank. But anyway, Brock Lesnar, he is the man to do stuff, and no surprises at all. On Top Game tonight. This was just like a little holiday for him in Japan, so it's funny thinking about the whole fact that he's just in it for 2 minutes in the ring, gets the most pop of the night, well, arguably so, but anyway, Brock Lesnar walks in, walks out, like a boss. He can just go over to Japan, have a little 2 minute match, leave, and be the most paid person that night, which I know kind of messed up, but seriously, going into Battleground, definitely will be probably staying tuned and watching that one at the end of July, is it? I'm not sure. But anyway, 6 match tonight. Finn Balor, no biggie, versus defeats Kevin Owens. Seriously, this is the best match ever. Yeah, I would say, I would put up there with maybe saying it was the best match of the year, because obviously I haven't watched many matches in, you know, the main roster and stuff. According to NXT, yes, I would definitely say just the whole story behind it gives it the best title match of the year, in my opinion. Just the story behind it. I'm sorry. I know Kevin Owens. Sorry, I mean, yes, I'd probably say Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. But currently, I love this match even more. Just because Finn Balor, you know? And seriously, like, that's just one thing that you can't get out of your head. It's Finn Balor defeating Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship. You know, get your head around how long. You know, he's held it for 150 days or whatever Kevin Owens has, and it's just great to see someone defeat the mega heel. That is Kevin Owens, and Finn Balor is the perfect person to do it. Perfect place, perfect timing. And you know, I'm so glad that he actually went over here to America, and yeah, this is like full circle back to Japan here with another title in his belt. And yeah, I still think he has a lot of potential to put out there. And that's great because he's an up-and-comer. He's got many years left in his career, and his career is only really unfleshing at the moment. So he's only just getting into it, as I would say, if I would talk normally there. But anyway, yes, this is seriously amazing, and I have to give all my pleasure and congrats to the man himself, Kevin Owens. Also, guys, check out my Instagram to see some pictures I posted. Probably going to post it throughout this day of his win and other bits of Beast in the East if I have coverage of that, if I find some pictures on my phone or whatever. But that's really exciting to see. So yeah, I love that. You know how enthusiastic I am about this guy. Hopefully that translates through to you. See how tell me in the comments how happy you are, because probably are, about Finn Balor winning one. Of course, we have to talk about the future of Finn Balor in NXT, and yes, I do think he has a bright future. I would love to see him stay here for another year, another 2 years. I know that's not that likely, as WWE will be gnashing their teeth to get him into the main roster, but of course, it is Finn Balor, and seriously, this guy has a bright future. But the thing is, he can have a bright future here in NXT. He doesn't have to move up like Kevin Owens is probably going to do. So yes, and obviously Hideo Itami was here ringside, and that sort of brills into our Hideo Itami looks sad, and now he wants to face, as he just kind of said to himself, blah blah blah, Finn Balor. So that means, of course, I did mention this months ago, Finn Balor versus Hideo Itami would be a brilliant match. Have we really had this before? We've had a lot of build up to something like this, but not this match. It's very much Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn type match of friends who just have to end up in this position. Seriously, Hideo Itami versus Finn Balor, two people who tried to be friends at the start but didn't really work out too well. This could translate into some brilliant in-ring chemistry and just a brilliant all-round match. So yeah, that's brilliant. I don't know how many times I have to say brilliant just referring to this show. It's brilliant. Anyway, our last match was I didn't even watch at all. I know Dolph Ziggler got quite fired up in this 23-minute long match. It was John Cena and Dolph Ziggler defeating Kane and King Barrett. I did predict correctly, and I knew the faces were going to win. It was so damn obvious, so blatantly out there, that I was like, oh yeah, of course they have to win, so that's clearly there. There you go, guys. That is it. That is the friggin' talking about the Beast in the East. Yes, I love this pay-per-view, just for basically that one match. It all signifies what I love about the WWE, I love about NXT, but I love about Finn Balor, and it's a bright future for NXT, because they got a new marquee man on top, and as long as they keep on going with this guy, keep gunning for Finn Balor, keep him as the champion, give him a long reign. Doesn't have to be long, as Neville or anything like that, but have him on good feuds. I think he's in good hands at the moment in NXT, and I really don't want him to move up the roster too quickly. So that's all I have to say about Finn Balor. Everything I know, I ranted about it for like 21 minutes or whatever, but really it is an important thing to talk about because, well, he's my favourite, and he deserves to be talked about. So, there you go. Now I'm going to go into rumours, then maybe a bit of FAQ, frequently asked questions, if you want to know from that title card at the start. But let's talk about other stuff that's been happening in wrestling at the moment, because, that was the Beast in the East there. Tough Enough has had 2 episodes out. I'm currently watching the first episode. They have them on the network, but apparently I just watched one of them on. I did. Last night I started watching Tough Enough episode 1. I also watched the sort of interview episode thing beforehand. The starter episode, which is on YouTube, but then you upload the episode 1 and 2 on YouTube. So I'm gonna actually watch those episodes. I'm interested in seeing how they got on, especially ZZ, who that's really a lot of people just care about him. I know he's not gonna win. Obviously, they're just putting him there for entertainment, of course. Tough Enough, but yeah, it's definitely weird this year. There's a lot of people going into this. I'm going to mention all the people who are involved with this. We've got, Lita, Billy Gunn, am I right in saying that? Yeah, Chris Jericho is the presenter, we got Renee Young, we got Hulk Hogan's involved as a judge, Paige is the judge. There's so many presenters and people involved with this show. It's crazy to see. We also got Booker T. Booker T is one of my favourites. I watched a documentary on him a short time ago. Very good, like W24 a few days ago. I love the W24 episodes. I watched the first one, I watched the second one. There's a third one out, which is a Roman Reigns one, which I might, stay tuned and watch that one. I know it's out, and they're very entertaining. A lot of the stuff the network produce at the moment is quite good, I have to say. A lot of goodness, and I love especially the pay-per-views which I just mentioned there, the Beast in the East. So, Tough Enough so far. Haven't really have an opinion on it, obviously, because I haven't watched any of the episodes. But in the future on these Wrestle-Talks, I may mention them here and again. Near the end of the episode, when I'm sort of winding down, near the rumours and stuff, I will probably touch on these Tough Enough episodes and tell you who all my favourites are and how things are going with the show. So, of course, I've done a Tough Enough review before, so it makes sense that I keep going with that in these Wrestle-Talks. So that's sort of like one of my plans that I've sort of set up at the moment. Going in for Tough Enough, because considering it's on YouTube, I can watch it easily. Let's talk about the W2K16 for a moment. I know I haven't really touched on it much in this Wrestle-Talk or my YouTube channel before, except for, of course, my vlog, which I did. But yes, 2K16. Our cover star will be announced next week on WWE Raw, which is very, very exciting. I love that game. I'm collecting every single one in a row since W13, so I'm really excited about this one. There's definitely a couple of hopefuls. 2 choices that I really would like to happen are Brock Lesnar, sort of throwback to Here Comes the Pain, a very obvious choice there. Obviously, he's a dominant man, going back in to probably win the World Heavyweight Championship once again, I have to say. But no, seriously, he would be a great choice going in for the cover star. We also have the 3 members of the Shield could be doing it, you know, a throwback to the Shield sort of thing. That would be really, really fun to do, you know, multi-man cover stars would be an interesting dynamic to go with. So that would probably be the most outlandish way of doing it, having Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose on the cover. But I really think they're going to go with Brock Lesnar. That makes the most sense. You know, he could come out and say on Raw, yeah, I'm the cover star, because you can't really have the 3 members of the Field come out and go, we're the cover stars. So yeah, in storyline purposes, in what WWE are probably going to do, it probably will be mostly likely Brock Lesnar. We had John Cena last year, you know. Seth Rollins on his own, that could be a possibility, but most likely, I think Brock Lesnar will do it. So yes, very exciting. WWE 2K16 is looking likely to be a pretty good game. Obviously, I haven't seen any in-ring gameplay or anything like that, but you know, most superstars ever in a game by like 100 or something. Very exciting to hear that. A lot of NXT is being geared up in this game, I hope, and hopefully they can fix my career, which I really didn't like last year. I'm sorry. Might as well do a review of that. Maybe I will do one day of W2K15. But seriously, they really need to fix some stuff that happened in the last game, but also build on what the good things they did. So obviously that's a big thing to ask, and I don't think they're going to deliver totally on that, but still, they can make a pretty enjoyable game, and I'll end up buying it anyway. So it doesn't really matter. I'm still going to buy the game. Yes, I know, that's me ranting on the game. Let's see. WWE announces first ever NXT TakeOver live special during SummerSlam weekend. Yes, another live special we're going to see in Brooklyn. It's not exactly a show that we'll see, you know, filmed. It will just be a live show, so that's interesting to see. NXT is of course heating up, and this is probably the best year of NXT so far. Obviously, 2015, all these live shows they're doing and stuff like that, really amazing. One thing I have to touch on as well is, of course, a Hall of Famer celebrates with Hideo Itami at Tokyo Live event the day before we saw this thing today, which is the Beast in the East. We saw this guy come out. He also congratulated Finn Balor, I have to say, at the end of that thing, but it was Kenta Kobayashi. And this guy came out, you know, he was returned to his hometown hero, Hideo Itami, and they started talking in Japanese. I don't know what they're talking about. It was on Instagram. It was amazing to see, you know, that was great, I have to say. But seriously, he went out and congratulated Finn Balor after his match. Hideo Itami really had a dirty look on his face, I have to say. So we're going to see some interesting dynamic between the two, as I previously touched on. But that's funny to see a Hall of Famer like that come out, because he's a really great guy. I can tell he's a good famer in Japan, and it was fitting to see him there alongside Finn Balor. Yeah, that's all really I have to comment on all that WWE stuff. Yes, I know, I'm slowing down, winding down this this Wrestle-Talk episode. Yes, I know. So I'm really getting tired of this now. I'm not getting tired of any of the wrestling stuff. It's really exciting and stuff like that. But yeah, this has been a long, long one. I know it's only been like half an hour, but seriously, for Wrestle-Talk, this is quite a lengthy one. Anyway, we're going to head in to talk about the FAQ. FNQ, which is basically, I'm going to do frequently asked questions. I know nobody's actually asked these new questions, and please don't comment on that. But seriously, I'm talking about these as well. These are questions that I've never really talked about, you know, basically wrestling background and stuff like that. What about wrestling and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about it in my frequently asked. I'm going to make up some questions, answer them, and hopefully give you a bit more of an insight in what I love in wrestling and my whole background with wrestling. So I'm going to first talk about how I got started with wrestling. I'll answer a few of these today. I might answer them in a future Wrestle-Talk some more. So I'm going to answer a few of them right now. Well, basically, I started off with wrestling. I've been previously watched a few little things. I think I've been sort of exposed to merchandise and stuff like that, because obviously you all know about John Cena and stuff like that, but never really liked it. You know, I never really wanted to delve into the TV or stuff like that, and actual storyline and stuff. So this was about 5 years back, I would say, or in around 5 or 4 years back. And of course, a few years later passed. It was 2012. Was the first full year I got into the product, I think. I picked up a WWE encyclopedia, which has really helped me with my knowledge, and I've sort of read through that, looked at the characters which it showed, and this was around 2013 time when I started watching full Raws and stuff like that. I watch pay-per-view bits. I usually just watch stuff on YouTube, which I still do to this day. I subscribed back in 2013 probably, or 2014, and then 2014 was a big year because I actually was in tune with the product. I watched the entire, pretty much, like, experience and stuff throughout the year. And yeah, I love WWE, and I've been a pretty hardcore fan ever since about 2014. And 2015 has been the other big year for me. So, you know, I'm not exactly the oldest wrestling fan, but the most important thing is I'm a hardcore fan and I love this product. So, you know, I'm not the longest term fan of the show. And a lot of people start off young. I really didn't. I was a sort of a newcomer, you know, I'm about like 12 when I started watching the show. So, that's cool to see that, you know, some people can watch from a young age, but really me, I started late, so yeah, I really do enjoy the WWE product, and of course, things have even changed, and I can see the changes that have happened since 2012, 2013, and they've been pretty huge, but things still need to improve, and I think that can happen, I believe that. So yes, and we also saw the arrival of the network. That happened during my stay, by the way, so that was pretty lucky for me to see the network come along. And yeah, I love the WWE Network, and I don't actually have it at the moment, but you know, I think it's a great addition to the WWE. So yeah, that's how I got started, in a long-winded way of saying it. I still love the WWE at this moment, of course. 2015 going into 2016, seriously great. Anyway, yes, let's talk about, what else we talk about. My favourite wrestler currently is Finn Balor, no brainer there. Obviously I've talked about him, don't need to talk about him anymore. Current NXT Champion. Let's talk about my other 4 favourite. I'll do top 5. So Finn Balor will be 1. Kevin Owens obviously has to be 2. He's just done a lot over the last month or so that really has got me invested in the character. Seth Rollins would not make my top 5. I'm sorry, but I just don't like Seth Rollins that much. I just can't really get behind him. I can't really, you know, feel for him in any way. I just really hate him, but you know, that's a good thing for a heel. But seriously, I don't hate him exactly like I want to watch him. I hate him, and I really don't want to watch him that much. So yes, Dean Ambrose would make my top 5, but I really haven't seen much of him lately, so no. So Finn Balor will be 1, Kevin Owens will be 2. Female wrestlers, well, my favourite at the moment is probably well, I like NXT, so I'm gonna say, you know what, someone who's really turned my head around and said, wow, you can actually do stuff, you're amazing. It will be Becky Lynch, so I'm going to have to say Becky Lynch on that one. 2 more who I have to mention would be probably from NXT, but really if I'm going to be biased towards NXT, I might as well be, because you know that's the sort of product I'm focused on. I would have to give one to, you know what, I'm not going to talk about NXT at the moment, because I'm really biased towards them. But anyway, 2 other superstars would be, oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with a guy that has really shown something unique. Let me think about this for a sec. This is a really hard one. I'm going to get back to it. So you know my top 4 there, basically, or top 3. Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Becky Lynch. Big 3 there in NXT. I really can't think of anyone special on the main roster who I would go full congrats. You are in my top 5 favourite wrestlers at the moment, because I haven't been that invested. So you know what, I'm going to make it fair and say none of them, because I really can't tell you each one particular superstar that I really enjoy. So I'm sorry about that one. I know I cut it short. I didn't really talk about anyone apart from WWE, which of course I'm not watching anybody apart from WWE. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I know it's kind of boring, but anyway. One more question I will answer now about WWE. Let's see. Trying to think of something to answer. What is my favourite? I'm trying to think of something to say. I can't really. Anyway, so yeah, one more question. I'll think of it at the moment. Before I do that, I'm going to say, guys, thank you for watching this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, favourite, comment below. Do all the things you can to support me and give me advice and stuff I think you should do in the future. Obviously, comment below anything, your favourite superstars and stuff like that. I'm going to end this by answering one more question that I can think of off the top of my head, and this one will be a special one. Who is my favourite wrestler from the Attitude Era? I'm going to answer it because, everyone loves the Attitude Era. It's absolutely overdone. I won't be answering too many more questions on the Attitude Era because, of course, it's such an overdone era. But it's from about 1997 to 2003, so that's a sort of a 6-year period. My favourite wrestler of all time has got to go the guy I love the most. Just loved him so much. You know what? I'm going to go with a special one here. Mick Foley. He's just special to me. But Mick Foley would be one. I would have to go with Edge, because Edge is the guy I love so much. Edge is sort of Attitude Era, I guess you could say, around the late Attitude Era. But I would say Mick Foley would be probably my favourite, because Edge was sort of late Attitude Era, more the Ruthless Aggression Era. Edge is amazing. You have to say, this guy can pull off great matches. He's just one of the best characters, especially during the later period of his career. Sort of the mid-range period of his career, 2002, 2005, 2007, were his peak years, 2005, 2007, stuff like that. And I really liked his career. I watched documentaries on him. I've also watched a bit of Mick Foley documentary. He's a really intriguing character, Mick Foley, as well. Obviously Mankind Dude Love and this Cactus Jack. Love that guy so much, especially the 3 characters he can perform in the ring. So yes, either Mick Foley or Edge. So there you go, my favourite Attitude Era wrestlers. There you go, guys. That is it for this episode. I did FAQ. I talked about rumours. I also talked about the Beast in the East 2015. That has been it for me, guys. I'm sorry that I'm talking really fast and really excited and hyped, but it's, of course, Finn Balor is the NXT Champion. Can't say anymore. Make sure to subscribe, guys. Like and leave all your comments below on things I've talked about in the topic in this video, and anything else you want me to see me do in the future. Talk about it in the comments below. See you all next time. Bye.